Welcome back, guys. It has been a while, but we are back with another video. Yeah, we kind of got wrapped up with harvest there, then we got right into some other stuff, so we've been busy around the clock, haven't had any time, haven't really left the office in a month, so we're out of the office now, that stuff's over with, and we're back to working, and today we're going to be working on the project Peterbilt, so that's cool. But I do have a little bit of explaining to do, but the cool part is that the motor is in and we're driving that baby home today. So actually, if you can see there, we're here at the local key lock, and we're gonna put some fuel. I got my slip tank in the back. We'll get I don't know, a couple 100 liters in there, a few gallons for you US guys, and we will get down to the mechanics and put some fuel in it and drive her home. Now this is going to be a little bit of a covert mission because there's no hood on the truck or anything like that. So, but I am excited. First time we're going to get to drive it. So welcome back, guys. Should be a good video. Strap in and let's get working. Here we go. Fuel going in. Beautiful day for December. See the wheat's greening up again over there. The wind's starting to die down. I don't know how you guys are doing across the Midwest, but those tornadoes look nasty. We had 100-kilometer-hour winds here too. So. Fuel acquired. Let's go pick up Todd and head on down the road. Big old Canada flag flying. That one's for you, Mike. If you guys didn't know, I've had a few of you guys ask in the comments where we're from. We are from southwestern Ontario, Canada. So we're not in the US, we are in Canada. That may be why I sound funny, or maybe why I think you guys sound funny, but Canada proud. That one's for you, Mike, and we like the States too. But just thought I'd fill you guys in. That's where we're from Canada. So yeah, we're basically from the most southern part of Ontario, Canada, which is, we share a border right with Michigan, right at Detroit. So I'm about an hour east of Detroit. And if you know Port Huron area, we're about an hour south of Port Huron. So southeast, I guess. Yeah, we're neighbors. So shout out to all my Canadian friends, shout out to all my American friends, and everybody else watching. There's people from all over the place, guys from Europe, Holland, Arnold, if you're watching. What's up, man? Appreciate all your comments and support in the videos. But yeah, just here. I see the Toddster is here. Where? Who knows? We'll find him and we'll hit the road. He's alive, guys. Gotta fix this door striker. We're ready to hit the road. I'm gonna put my phone down, but it's running, runs great. So we're gonna hit the road, and I'll catch up with you when we get to my uncle's place. We're rolling down the highway, folks. No hood, just cruising along good. Speedo not working. We'll have to figure that out. Maybe that gauge is bad. I don't know. I never heard this truck run or drove it before we started doing all this work, so there's gonna be a few bugs, but it runs really good. Be a little better if I had the cover on there. It's blowing a bunch of dust up in my face, but man, this feels great. Who would have thought, when we started this project, how long it would have took and how intense and how deep into it we would have got, but it's a pretty awesome feeling to be driving it now. There's still a lot of work to do, but woo, feels good. It's the first time I had it running. It's the first time I've had batteries to it. Everything we installed and did seems to be working so far, so that's a plus. Like I said, still a lot of stuff to do. We got to get the hood on this thing, and I've got some explaining to do. So when we get to the shop, I'm going to sit down and we'll kind of explain what's going on and what we're doing and what the next step is. Oh, we made her home. It was a fun ride. Let's look at this thing in the light. Oh, Imagine when she's got a hood on her. Todd's gonna roll her in the shop here for us. Ooh, she's tall. Well, your first drive, Todd, what'd you think?
She's different. You know, hey, you know, it'll take a while to get used to her. She's a little different on the clutch, and the gear shift's nice and sloppy.
It's not too bad.
Not too bad.
It's not sloppy. It's good.
Once we get her going and
Todd, it's been a while. Where you been?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been doing a lot of things, hunting, race car, and you know, hey, the 379 is back. We'll see what we can do to get her on the road.
So we got a bit of explaining to do. The truck really, all it needs to be finished, or what we thought was put the hood on, do a little bit of wiring, you know, odds and ends. But the big hard parts we thought were just the hood, and then put the fifth wheel slider and plate back on. But that's not the case. We ran into one little issue when it was at the mechanics. He likes to take the hubs off, check the bearings, set the bearings. And he got the hubs pulled off and the spindles were wore. So the spindles are wore. There's not a lot we can do about it. He said he's never seen where all four spindles on these rear axles were worn. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the spindle is what the bearing rides on. So the hubs have the bearings in them. The bearings and the hubs slide over the spindle, and then you tighten it down and you put your inner axle in. It's the spindle shaft itself. The bearings must not have been set up properly, so there is some wear there to the point where he didn't think it would be safe putting it back on the road like that. So whatever, it is one of the things. We're rolling with the punches here. Just, you know, more peace of mind now. So looked into, there's a few options we could have done. One was replacing the housings, find a set of used axles to put under it. The other would be, you know, cutting it off here behind the cab, rolling this all the way, rolling a new rear clip in. And that was probably for the first week or two after we found this out, that was our plan. We looked around, found a couple, just weren't quite right. Guys were asking big money for stuff that, in my opinion, was kind of junk and wore out already. And then we have all the labor of cutting it, welding it. This frame's been sandblasted and painted, and everything's new. The lines are new, the air lines are new, the brakes were new, torque arms, hubs, not hubs, what do you call them? Those things. The brake drums, the brake linings, everything was new. This frame is pitted a bit, not enough to cause any safety concerns. It just looks kind of ugly. So, you know, a cutoff would have been nice, but just couldn't really find what we wanted. And then, you know, do we want to be in this? Probably another 15 grand. So the alternative to that is the reason why we're here in the shop today. So basically what's going to happen is we've got these stripped down. He's going to cut these off right about here, 2 inches from this spider plate. He's going to cut these off and butt weld the new spindle on. But for that to happen, we actually have to strip everything off of here. So we're halfway there. We got the wheels off, got the drums, linings off, got the axles drained and pulled out, the inner axle. So the next step on these rear axles is to just loosen that nut and pull the hubs off, and then undo all these bolts here and get this spider plate off and get the S-cam out. And that'll be clear, clean, ready for him to work with. So I didn't have enough jack stands earlier, but we went home for lunch, and that's why the front tires aren't off. So I grabbed another jack stand, we lifted it up, put it on jack stands. So I will start with, I'll get these unbolted and away we go. Well, I'll get these wheels zipped off quick. Make sure we're on 3. So the camera quit recording there, but you've seen wheels come on and off a million times. Wheels are off, out of the way. Now, could loosen the slack adjuster off, but the brakes are already set up, so I think I'm just gonna throw a cage bolt in there and we'll slide this drum off. So if you've never seen one before, this is what they call a caging bolt. And what this will allow you to do is release the spring brake on the drum or on the axle, and effectively it will release the brakes from the drum, and you should be able to slide that right off. Being these are so new, normally you release a slack adjuster and turn it backwards, but everything's set up, everything's new, so we'll just throw this in. It's a little bit quicker. It's easier on the slack adjuster too. Sometimes, you know, some of the slacks are older on this truck. They should probably be replaced eventually, but they're still working good. So rather than worrying about stripping the bolt on the slack adjuster, because these are, I'm not sure the brand, but they're like a 7/16 nut that you turn, rather than I don't know if it's the Rockwells or whatever have the 9/16, which, you know, is really hard to strip, but that small little nut gets all rusty and it's a pain. So we'll just throw these cage bolts in and we'll pull the drum off. So effectively all you do is you take this caging bolt, pull the washer up towards the nut. This little keyed end actually fits right in the end of your brake pot there. You just pull the cap off, and then you'll feel it only goes in one way, and then you turn it and it's locked in there. So now what you do is you just tighten this snug up against the brake chamber. And what it's going to do, it's actually attached to, there's a spring in here, and that goes in and it locks in, but when you tighten this here, this will pull the spring back and away and release the brakes here. So nothing special, just one of those things. There we go, she's starting to pull now. So I'm gonna grab a socket, throw it on here, tighten that up a bit, and then we'll get these brake drums pulled off. So moving right along, pulled the drain bolt out of here, let these drain, then pulled all these out. These are studs, so sometimes the whole thing comes out, sometimes just the nut comes off, and then we tap the back side, get it loose with a hammer. You can see it's sitting off the edge there. Then we'll just pull this axle out, real easy. Just like so. And there's 2 different length axles, and an easy way to tell which one goes where on which side, and if you forget, is the centers of these axles are actually offset. So the long one on this one will go here, and then this is the short side, so that'll be the short axle, and it's opposite at the front. Next thing you have to do is grab a screwdriver or a punch or something. You got your axle nut in there, and it's actually double nutted, but see there's this tab here. See that holding the nut from moving. So you just bend that out of the way, and there's just one tab holding it because he just put it back together quick so we could run it home. Then you need one of these babies. This is a 4-inch 6-point socket. Don't run an impact on this, you will take the center out of it. So then you just throw it on there. Shouldn't take much. You just loosen her off till she's loose. Then you can just spin this out of here by hand. Hand you that. Then this lock collar comes off, like so. And then this inside nut, a lot of the times it's loose, but this one isn't. So you want to just crack it. Give it a quick, yeah, that's all it takes, not much. And then it'll thread off. And you'll know which one's the inner. You'll know which one's the inner because it's got this tab on it, and that coincides with that locking ring. There's a hole in that locking ring that little, you see it there, so that hole will line up inside. Anyways, so once you got all your stuff set aside, this hub's ready to slide off. You pull the outer bearing out. You just do the old wiggle and pull. That should just pop off of there. Sorry, the camera died there. So you just pull this. Sometimes it's a bit tricky because this seal holds it in. And then you just push the seal forward. And this bearing should pop out. Maybe grab my screwdriver here. And just, there we go. But I'll show you the reason why we're changing these. Somebody has thought it was a good idea to do some welding. I don't know if you can see under there. There you go. See this? This axle, all four of them are like that. I don't know what they were doing to this thing, but it is screwed. So, you know, on the top doesn't look bad at all, and even here where the bearing's riding, and even this one at the back isn't bad, but right here at the front, and on the other side we had one off this same axle, and they've been welding in here, eh, Todd, it looked like?
Sure looks like it.
Yeah, so we'll
I was trying to weld it. Oh God, yes.
I'll show you the one on this side. I don't know if you can see it or not. Right there. That's why we're doing it. You can see all the little weld spots they did. Because this had wore, see this little bit of a lip here? And it wore down, so they built up some weld so they could get the bearing to sit in there tight. But that is not the way you're supposed to do it. Okay, so we got the hubs off, got the seals off. We got all the bolts out for the Spider. Didn't film that, we needed 2 guys and I forgot my tripod, so we got that done. And then now we got to get this Spider off the axle. So we're gonna air hammer around and loosen up some of that rust and scale, and then just hit it with the good old fashioned BFH a bit, and it should pop off. Don't forget your safety goggles.
Don't forget your safety goggles.
See it moving a bit. Now, I want to take a step back. Off she comes. Turn this sensor up out of the way a bit. There you go. Got your shield off. Your Spider, that's what they refer to as a Spider. It holds the shaft that your brake shoes pivot on. And then this is where your shaft for your S-cam goes through. So this had to come off. In order for them to cut these spindles, he's going to bolt his jig to here, right on this axle, and then he'll probably cut it. He said about 2 inches from this flange, so around here somewhere. So, well,
hey,
by his
Mom.
hands and my face, we got him off. So there they are, stripped down, ready to go. A little bit of a project, but once you get one off, makes the rest easy. Well, we had a little pause in the action. We went for lunch quick. We got a bunch more stuff to do to this truck, but I think that's where we're going to end today's video. Todd, do you have anything to say to these guys?
Yeah, you guys get over here and clean up this floor. It's dirty as hell.
Anything else?
Lunch was good.
Lunch? Yeah, what'd you have for lunch?
Hamburger.
And I had enchiladas. They're really good. Todd, why don't you close us out, though?
Well, you know, come back again. But before you do, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and ding the bell. We'll see you on the next one.